Hi, this is Nathan. I'm glad you could join us for the Wad Fam Chalk Pod, a place of humor, analysis, and excitement. But don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself on today's Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Acebo.
And this week we are joined by another special guest from Marvel and ASCAT, now Rat Scraps, and also the George Lucas Talk Show. It's
Patrick Cotnoir. Hi,
Oh
guys.
my gosh, you're that guy
How
from
are
that
you?
thing.
Yeah. From too many things, some would say.
A handful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, we've had more superlatives off the top, so you know,
Okay.
why not?
Okay. I mean,
You gotta duke it out with Andrew Taven if you want the longer list.
listen, I could have given you more. I thought I was being nice by only giving you a couple. We could keep going, but it's
He
fine.
won outstanding athlete in his third grade elementary
Wow.
school.
Wow, you guys have the wrong idea of me if you think I was an athlete at any point in my life.
What? I could have done record holder for longest on-air nap.
Oh,
Sure.
You've got that.
Yeah.
More Twitter followers than 1600 pen?
Yeah.
Is that the one you actually passed? Not
Yeah,
as
yeah.
many as Sean Saves the World?
Well, listen, we're going to save it for the plugs at the end. I don't want to ruin this up top.
All right.
This is what the people
Fair
came
enough.
for. We've got to make them wait.
Look, he's sandwiched in between two canceled NBC shows as far as Twitter followers go. So he's, got a rapport.
Yeah. That's it.
Do you wake up with that burden? Like, is that something that you tangibly feel on your life?
Yeah, I don't like it. I want it to be done, but it's also a self-imposed burden. No one
That's fair.
is. I don't walk down the street and people go, "Hey, man, how's it feel to not have as many Twitter followers as Sean Saves the World, which only did like 13 episodes?" And that never happens. It's just me looking in the mirror, going,
Man, I can't believe this.
Look,
Yeah,
now you're
they're-
just inviting it because
Exactly.
if I ever see you on the streets of New York,
Yeah.
that's what I gotta say.
And you know
Well,
what?
that's how
If
you'll know.
If anyone listening to this podcast, I give you complete free reign to come up to me and say that. Totally free reign. And I'll be like, "Ugh, you listened to that podcast, didn't you?"
yeah.
And they'll be
Yep,
like,
good
yeah. And then you'll be like, okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll
Nice.
deploy the listeners to come heckle you.
I'm fine with it.
You
I
know.
love it.
So, we're here to talk about an episode of Adventures in Odyssey called Soaplessly Devoted. And I feel like I kind of threw you into this somewhat haphazardly. So you want to just set up, Patrick, what your background is here, what you knew going into it, and from a broad range, how you feel now.
Well, listen, here's what I knew going into it. You sent me, I don't remember if it was an email. Oh, no, I think it was a tweet. Because I said I wanted to go on more podcasts because I was losing my gosh darn mind in my apartment. So you gave me the general rundown. You said, it's a conservative Christian audio drama. It's been going, there's like almost 1,000 episodes, late 80s, all that stuff. I don't think I knew. Oh, man. There's a couple things. I was blown away when I looked at the Wikipedia page after I listened to it, and I recognized so many actors' names.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
I was wondering when
always
we get to this.
We're getting to it really quick. Genuinely, like the first name I clicked on was the guy who played John Avery Whitaker in the late 80s to early 90s, and I was like, oh, I know who this guy is. Like, he was he's like
Al Smith.
Otis. Yeah, he's Otis on Andy Griffith. He was Owl. Like, it was just like in Winnie the Pooh. But it was just like, oh no, the first name I clicked on I know. And then I started going down the list, and I just kept saying, oh no, oh no, oh no. Including people who are still doing stuff.
Right. This episode specifically, we have Corey Burton voicing Trevor.
Yeah.
Corey Burton is Count Dooku and Cad Bane in like the Clone Wars and a million other things.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even know Corey Burton was in this until you said that. His name is not even on the list that I saw. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode specifically has him, and then Townsend Coleman is in it as well. The OG Tick. And 90s Michelangelo.
That's my Tick. I'm not gonna lie.
He also take that, Patrick Warburton, Peter Serafinowicz. Andrew's coming for you.
He also played. I'm clicking on Townsend Coleman's Wikipedia page. He played Wayne Gretzky in an animated hockey show in the 90s, I guess. I don't know.
That feels very on brand, and I can't explain why.
That's wild.
Oh wow! Hang on, I'm so sorry. I need to talk about this very quickly. We're going as long as we need to go on this episode.
Oh yeah, Wikipedia rabbit holes are the end all be all.
Good. This is a show called Pro Stars, which aired from September 14th to December 7th, 1991. Very quick run. Starring. Here's who it's starring. Not even voices of. Live action starring.
Wait, excuse me?
Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan.
Wild. Is this like the Back to the Future animated series though, where it's
that's exactly what I think it is.
So it's not really starring them; they're just kind of there to bookend it.
Yes. So it looks like the actors are live, or the sports stars are live action, and then they go to an animated. They cut to an animated segment where they play superheroes. So it's like Michael Jordan is a superhero, except it's voiced by a man named Dorian Harewood. I don't know.
So you said it didn't run long. Are these full half-hour episodes of television, or are these bumper videos?
Yeah, no, this appears to be a full half hour. It says 13 episodes.
Oh, my word.
Aired on NBC.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Hey, if you listen to this and you know what that is, write to us, because my word, that's a revelation for sure.
Yep. Sorry, coming in real hot here.
No.
An iconic moment in American television history. Truly. 13 unforgettable hours of superhero Wayne Gretzky.
So it's wild though that they didn't I guess it's a character who's a superhero. It's weird though that he's in the show, but then they have another person voice him.
Yes. Well, was Christopher Lloyd the voice on Back to the Future?
Actually, I don't think he. Now I'm rapidly googling.
I'm gonna look.
No,
yeah.
I kind of don't think he was.
I don't think he was either.
Also, Bill Nye's in that show.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yep. Dan Castellaneta did it in live and animated. So
yeah, similar thing there. Okay. There's precedence.
Yeah.
So your first experience was go to the wiki, see people you know.
Well, no, that's not even what I did. I listened to the episode and then I went to the wiki. I said I don't want to know anything about this before I listen to it. I listened to it this afternoon, and as it was wrapping up is when I went to the wiki and was like, "Oh no, what is going on?"
Yep.
Yeah.
You have fallen into the Twilight Zone.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you.
Everybody you know and love has a acting credit on a very conservative radio drama.
Now, you say falling into the Twilight Zone. I was listening to this episode and I was like, this sounds like they are trying to do the Twilight Zone in this episode specifically. I don't know if
they do
this
try
is
and do the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Well, so it's two-pronged. So this falls into a category of shows that take place in the room of consequence, which is where a character goes in and they experience what could have happened if they were allowed to do whatever they wanted. It's mostly kids being like, I just want to eat junk food.
Yeah.
And then they get to go in there and everyone in their life abandons them because they're eating junk food. But the
not problematic at all for children.
This is separate from there is a radio show within the radio show called The Twilight Zone.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Which is direct is directly referencing Twilight Zone. So this isn't even the show doing a Twilight Zone homage.
No,
They
this
do
would
that
be too
differently.
good for that. Like this is better than their Twilight Zone
So,
impression.
Wow.
Yeah. We covered, I think, all 6 of those episodes at one point, just because we were like, we got to fall down this rabbit hole.
Yeah,
And it's
Correction,
it's
Dylan
quite
was
the
like,
trip.
we have to fall down this rabbit hole.
I dragged Andrew along, and he loved it.
Oh, I did. I mean, I was like, it was like reading those books in the Bible that you never really read ever, and then you read it and you're like, oh wow, this book really does have some whack crap in it.
Yes. That's amazing. I'm glad that you got it all out of the way at the same time, though. That feels like the right way to do it.
And it was right at the beginning, too. I mean, we started the podcast, I had moderate success, and then we were like, all right, let's just kill it.
Now,
Let's alienate the audience.
Well, how many episodes have you guys listened to at this point?
Well, so we
All
both
of them?
grew up. We both grew up on this.
Okay.
And so there was a point at which I had heard roughly like the first 600.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Maybe missing 1 or 2 here and there.
Oh my God.
But like, yeah, this was
It's astonishing.
Yeah.
And frankly, kind of shameful, honestly.
well, and now we've covered like 150 of them for this show.
Sure.
So, and that's not even scratching the, like you said, nearly 1,000 total episodes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, listen, you're saying it's shameful, but in the beginning, when you had heard the 600 growing up, I would argue that's not your fault. So that's not something you should be feeling shame for unless you're being put into the room of consequences. That's the only time you should be feeling shame.
Yes.
right. No. The shame is now that we've been doing this podcast for 3 years.
Yeah.
The shame is that I am subscribed to a $10 a month service that gives me all the episodes.
Oh,
That's
no.
the shame.
Oh, no. Can't you? You must be able to find these somewhere.
You can find the
Some.
old episodes. I have a
Only
good
on the
archive
very
of,
deep internet.
of early episodes from the deep internet. Unfortunately, we started trying to cover new episodes, and then I did this. However, and listeners, if this offends you, I didn't say this, but the once you sign in to the subscription service on your computer, all the audio is unencrypted. So I mean, that's what you got. I just downloaded it from their website by using Inspect Element.
Let me just pop in and say, listeners, if that offended you, you should not listen to this episode, because I think there are going to be a lot of other things that offend you if that's what's offending you.
I agree, but honestly, I will co-sign that.
I do as well.
Do not send your complaints to me. Please
yeah. That is a blanket rule here, folks. If you don't like a guest, we are the problem, not the guest.
Please send them to Dylan or Andrew. If you want to put me in the tweet, you can. Just don't direct the tweet to me. You can CC me in it, but just don't send it only to me.
But that's the thing where it's so limited in availability because its market demographic is church libraries and stocking stuffers for kids for Christmas.
Well, and of these
birthday presents that you don't feel bad about giving.
And at one point, kids' meals at Chick-fil-A.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Lest we never forget, they put cassettes in Chick-fil-A meals
in
with
the
episodes
sandwiches.
of this.
I did see that. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a Chick-fil-A boy as it is, mostly out of I've been there a couple times. I don't think it's that good, but then also there's the moral standpoint on it, and this just confirmed every belief I've ever had.
That is fair.
Yeah.
The thing that, the reason there is a streaming service for this show is they have the thing that, HBO Max and Peacock so desperately want, which is full control of their back catalog.
Sure.
They're nationally syndicated, but they don't, they own all their episodes. They're just one production company, so...
Now you wonder... You must be like one... Man, I'm trying to think of how many people are actually signed up for this $10 a month.
I mean,
too many people.
Yeah.
I would assume it is a lot of families.
Yeah.
So it's like parents buy this. You can create child accounts. That's how Andrew listens, as well as some other people on the who listen to our show and occasionally are like, hey, I'd like to listen along. And I'm like, look, here's a login.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys like about this show?
So the production design tends to be very good.
Yes.
There are larger arcs that they do that are interesting and have compelling character work over multiple episodes and stay pretty much out of the ickiness, but when they do delve into it, are interesting in that. Because just the format of guest episodes tends to be picking ones that are particularly bad because it makes for better entertainment, and choosing ones that are self-contained so that the person coming on doesn't have to deal with all the baggage of 900 episodes.
Yeah.
So, which, to be fair, I'm sure this episode still has weird baggage because, it's impossible to fully, remove yourself from that greater context of, hey, there are a lot of other episodes and these characters don't exist in a vacuum.
Well,
Now,
and I would say that is its strength, is that there is so much of it that it's just kind of foolproof. I mean, they don't all have to be winners when you're throwing 1,000 darts at the board.
Yeah. It's quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
Now,
especially recently.
Interesting.
So it used to air, when it first started out, they were doing like a new episode every week, I think for like the first 3 years of the show. And then they moved to doing, a decent number a year, maybe, 30 or so a year.
Sure.
And it has varied until now there are 12 episodes a year that are released to the public and 12 that are behind their paywall.
Okay.
They're streaming only.
Wow. It's their Patreon. It's their Patreon.
Yes. It's
So
exactly
it is,
what it is.
Yeah. It's
So
you
funny.
spend $10 a month for 2 new episodes, but full back catalog access.
Man, that's wild.
It is ludicrous the amount of money they make on just old stuff they've like.
I will never fully understand the economics of Adventures in Odyssey, because obviously there's the whole like focused on the family on the back end that's its own terrifying rabbit hole. But just in Adventures in Odyssey, the fact that we talked about, like, they have actual actors in this thing, and I'm like, what do you get paid?
Well, that's what I think it's gotta be.
Faith.
Flat fee? Nobody actually gets royalties on these episodes, right? Like, Focus just pockets all of the backlog, I imagine. Like, there's no... Yeah, it is just... And, like, to what degree do the writers have any ownership over what they create? Like, I assume not really. I don't know. It's such a black box, and there's no one who cares enough to write. Like, it's not mainstream enough, and there's nobody in the world that does care about it who seems to care about the economics of it. Like, I want, like, a long form article digging into how this industry exists, but like, I'm never gonna get that unless I make it myself.
That's 100% true. I agree with you 1,000%. Now, how do you feel about the fact that you're giving them $120 a year?
Look, that is a thing that I try and offset and also not think about.
Sure.
It is the only thing that keeps Dylan up.
How thin can I spread this by letting other people access it?
Yes.
How much can I exploit my access to this service? And also, what good causes can I throw money at to make me feel better about this situation? And to be honest, it doesn't fully work in the moments where I in those dark moments where I'm thinking about what's going on. I always do feel a little bit like I am the problem here, aren't I?
Yeah.
I mean, just because I feel the need to open my mouth, I am inadvertently giving them credit. Certain.
Right,
I
it's
can't help
like
it.
no amount of criticism on this show will offset the money I give them and the people who listen because of this, which granted aren't many, but like, you're here, Patrick.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to be.
Yes, but
you can't change that.
It's too late. I've already listened to it. I can't go back. It's fascinating. It's just a real weird I just because there's a lot of these actors where I'm Googling and I'm like, I can't find anywhere that you are, an evangelical Christian or like this is like a big part of your life. And you wonder if there's some people who, because a lot of people are not a part of the show anymore.
Right.
There's a lot of people who bow out 2008, 2010, somewhere around there. And you wonder if it's something where they're like, okay, yeah, we've hit a point where the world has changed so much that I don't know if it's a good idea to be a part of this anymore, versus like earlier.
The Obama effect.
The Obama effect.
For sure. Well, and also just the internet. Like the fact that you could get away with doing this for so long and no one would ever have noticed because you'd have to tune into a Christian radio show at the right time and hear a credits block and then go, oh, I recognize that name. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Like it's like security through obscurity kind of idea where it's like this is so far out in the ether that it's like nobody's going to ever notice that I'm doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And how much would have they cared? I mean, we've talked about in the past how like especially this episode airing in like 94 where it's like I mean that was like the in the US at that point you still have so much like Christianity as the monoculture.
Sure.
And that I mean, yeah, when Andrew was on for an episode, Andrew Taven was on for an episode a couple weeks ago, like we talked about the fact that the Simpsons went to church. Like that's part of the Simpsons. Like so it is less when this show's coming up, it's I don't know, a thing that probably was less of a concern than it has to be now because Twitter exists.
Yeah.
That being said, like people still seem to be able to kind of do it. Jess Harnell is part of the main cast now. And he still books like
totally
stuff. I mean, he literally is in episodes of Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Like which is like I don't know how you straddle the line between those two camps.
How you can compartmentalize that in your brain as being like, yeah, this is cool, and yeah, this is also cool. Like it's just a very weird. Very weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he just thinks he plays a funny. Yeah, that's.
Honestly, he thinks he's playing a funny mailman here.
Honestly, that's completely probably it. It's just like because this guy does so much stuff. This guy, Jess Harnell specifically, works so much. Where you're like, maybe it is just like, it took me like 20 minutes every like 3 months, and I just bang it out in one shot, and I get $5,000 or whatever it is, like, maybe I don't know.
Right. There's got to be that element too, because it's I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, you gotta toe that line between like, hey, this is someone's livelihood who might feel differently than this, but then also being like, is it okay if you feel differently than this and you're adding to it? Like those are big questions that we're going to answer in their entirety here tonight,
completely comprehensively.
So stay tuned.
Thank goodness. That's actually what I prepared for. I didn't listen to the episode.
I do also want to point out Jess Harnell did play Darth Maul in Star Wars Demolition, Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, and Star Wars Racer Revenge.
Wow.
So he was the go-to Darth Maul guy for a little bit there, looking at his Wikipedia page.
The number of bit people in these episodes that we look up, and it's like, oh, they are the go-to video game voice for whatever. I forget who it is, but there was a guy we covered I don't know, a couple months ago, who his thing was that anytime they needed Lightning McQueen, but didn't want to pay Owen Wilson, this is the guy they call.
Yes.
We've had a guy who was a George W. Bush impersonator.
Oh, sure.
Who was in episodes, which is I mean that's its own mess of a topic, but still like. Yeah, I mean,
that's a good gig. That's a good gig if you can get like Jess Harnell. He does Marlin in all the Finding Nemo stuff I'm looking at right now. So like, clearly Albert Brooks does not want to do an Epcot ride, and then Jess Harnell does Nemo for like 40 minutes, and then he like gets paid so much money.
I can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
look
can
at
be
me.
a clownfish.
Oh man.
Yeah. But, also Jess Harnell, famously the voice of Brer Rabbit in Splash Mountain. So, you know.
And
he's all over the place.
several
All over.
protagonists on Doc McStuffins. That's what I'm looking at now.
Sure. Crash Bandicoot. We can keep going.
I would like to, maybe to the point of Jess Harnell not really being that invested in the show beyond a paycheck.
Yeah.
He does have his character's name on the show spelled wrong in
That
his
is
Twitter bio.
that is classic.
But it bio.
Right. It's a weird toe the
You
line
are
right there.
iconic.
Yeah.
To the wrong people.
All right. Rather than falling deeper into the hole of voice actor economics,
Let's talk about the quality programming.
there's one other dumb thing, which is that this episode, its original air date was December 31st of 1994.
Oh no.
So people rung in the new year to
Honey, turn off Dick Clark. We have to watch this. Also, this episode that we listened to was from 1994?
Yeah, 1994.
It sounded good. For
Right.
being
See,
from...
this is my point.
Wow.
This is the silver lining to this show, is that they occasionally do really good mystery writing, and it
Yeah.
always sounds good.
That's fascinating. I never would have... I assumed it was from, like, 2009.
Right. No, I mean, that would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
But no, like, they started out with a lot of... Hal Smith was, like, the big get of,
Yeah.
like, hey,
Sure.
we have someone... Katie Lee...
We have 85-year-old Otis. There we go, guys.
Yep. Like, Hal Smith, Katie Lee, Will Ryan are
Yeah.
the kind of core three through the early years of the show. And then essentially every other cast member is a writer on the show, family or friends of a writer on the show, someone who is doing sound design, someone who is writing articles for Focus's magazine. Like, it's just like, let's grab someone. Most of the children in the show are played by actual children, not adults doing children voices.
Sure.
That changes kind of as time progresses until, like, you know, today. But yeah. All right. So here it is. Here's how this show is promoted on the radio. Presumably at the time it was aired, and then every time since, because they don't seem to re-record these.
It's time to wash and come clean on the next Adventure in Odyssey. Erica is delighted by Jason Whittaker's suggestion that she live the life of a soap opera character in The Room of Consequence. That is, until disaster sets in. Will Erica learn the awful truth about the soaps before anything worse happens? Find out next time on Adventures in Odyssey.
So is the presumption that it's Erica's responsibility to rescue Holly's life? Because that feels like really bad. I don't know how to take that one.
I don't know.
Should we give a little
Yes.
description of what this episode is about for people?
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, the loosest explanation of the plot is Erica walks into Wits End, which is an ice cream shop and discovery emporium. Sure. She meets Jason Whittaker, who is the son of Whit, who, after Hal Smith's death, exited the show for a bit before being recast, a few years down the road. So Jason's running things right now. She meets him. She calls him Mr. Wits End. And then she needs to get out of there so that she can go watch a soap opera. And he goes and decides, well, I'm going to teach her a lesson. I'm going to put her in a soap opera. And so he sciences and makes a soap opera machine, and she goes in, and the rest is history.
Yeah. She
that
lives
sums it
out
up.
of soap.
That's about
I mean,
everything,
If you've
I think.
seen a soap opera, it does feel fairly in character to a certain degree, but yeah, this one was rough, man. This one was really rough.
That's really funny to hear because I truly didn't know where it fell on the scale. You know, I didn't know if you guys would be like, hey, this is one of the good ones, or if this would be one of the bad ones.
It is. There are a couple laugh lines that did like almost get a response from me, which is often not the case because, I mean, jokes for kids shows is a tough category already. Sure. Throw in that you have like a message that might actually be an agenda that you then have to deliver in a way that offends no one.
Would you like a glass of milk?
And it... Right. So it really... They're operating under some tight constraints here. And for what it's worth, the Adventures in Odyssey wiki rates this with 40 votes as a 90%. Out of 100, if you know how percents work.
Sure.
But we don't know the age range of these people voting, and I'm guessing it is young.
Now, is the Adventures in Odyssey wiki, is that kept up by
fans?
Okay.
There is no direct official affiliation.
Well, that's not even what I was going to say. I was going to say goobers like you two or actual fans of the show.
No, actual fans.
No, we try not to stoop that low. We've had some we've had mostly positive interactions with the Adventures in Odyssey wiki people.
Okay.
We do have there is a page for our podcast on the wiki, which has not been maintained in the past, I don't know, 8 months, but was maintained pretty diligently up till that point. So like,
by you guys or by someone else?
No. I have an account. I have not edited anything.
That's kind of amazing. That's amazing.
Right. So it's like at one point I'm like, well, at least the people maintaining the wiki to an extent are interested in what we are doing.
Sure.
But not that
much.
There's
not, don't have the best grasp. Don't have the best grasp on who maintains this thing. But I think it's a lot of high schoolers who are homeschooled is my
It's really a torch that is
impression.
passed down within families and generations from sibling to sibling.
Can I send them a message right now in case they're listening?
Yes.
Guys, listen to me. Come here. Come into another room so they don't hear this. You guys can listen to other things. There's other funny, good stuff out there. Don't just listen to this. I promise you, you'll find so much joy and so much love and laughter in other shows, and this is not the be-all, end-all, and I really want you to get out. Just get out, and it'll make your life so much better. Okay, guys, I'm done.
Okay. I trust what you said was great, and
Okay.
I fully endorse it.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. So the I don't know. It's a hard episode to tackle because there's the construction of it is more interesting than the details.
The point of the show is to prove that soap operas are ridiculous. It's unfortunate that the vessel to do so is a young girl who is getting progressively traumatized through her own imagination, which I can't imagine what the long-term psychological effects of that are, but they can't be good. Also, how is not putting somebody in the shoes of somebody who is in a soap opera, like, how is that not the same as entertaining somebody by watching the soap opera?
So Andrew, it's the go smoke this entire pack of cigarettes strategy.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you want to smoke?
Yeah. It's not so good now, is it? You know, it's one of those things.
Oh my word. The end where she fully renounces soap operas and is like, man, you gotta like make my friend do this too. I'm just like,
oh my gosh.
I didn't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I didn't know that soap operas were like a tool of the devil. I had never heard that argument before.
They're morally bankrupt.
Morally bankrupt. Like, listen, it makes, when you like sit down and think about it, it makes sense. But like, I had just never heard anyone like you don't see people protesting soap operas.
No.
Yeah.
And there's
Maybe-
probably plenty of stuff on there that could get canceled, but I just
Oh,
don't think
sure.
that anybody's looking at it.
Yeah. And maybe in
The eye of
1994
Sauron is averted from soaps.
yeah. Maybe in 1994 there were soap opera protests, but that just feels like something you would have heard about, you know?
Right. It's like how much of an epidemic was this that they felt like they had to do an episode about it? Also, what was the relevance of soap operas in 1994? Because
Yes.
we've talked about a lot how the show tends to have an axe to grind like 20 years late.
Yeah.
They did an episode in the early 90s where they railed against 70s culture.
60s.
They also... Oh, sorry, 60s culture. Yes. They also have tackled like the Dungeons and Dragons
Oh no.
incident, which they tackled
Newsflash,
so
they don't do
gracefully.
it. Yeah, they don't do it well.
The best part being Katie Lee, a voice on the show, I think the actor who's been in the most episodes of the show,
Yeah.
was a voice on Dungeons and Dragons
Oh, that's so funny.
before doing the show. So maybe she had a change of heart.
Oh my gosh.
But the other great thing about the Dungeons and Dragons episode, not to make this about that, but the child in that episode was a actual child playing that part, and he has since grown up to be a pretty cool and seemingly well-adjusted guy who live streams himself playing Dungeons and Dragons with his kids from time to time.
That's really funny. Now I'm googling like Christian soap opera protest. The only things I can find is there was an Egyptian soap opera that a group of Christians asked a court to stop broadcasting because it was offensive because it promotes marriage. Hang on one sec. Shoot.
Christians are notoriously against marriage.
It promotes marriages between Muslims and Christians.
Oh.
So that was something, and then I found another article that the Christian Broadcast Network canceled its soap opera in 1984, and they were disappointed it didn't find an audience. So it seems like Christian people just, they say daytime television is a tough nut to crack. This was done originally as an experiment to determine what our capabilities would be for producing one of our own shows. Clearly did not go that well. It was called Another Life is what it was called.
This show has a history of basically anytime it's doing media criticism,
Yeah.
I look at it and I go, but you are media.
Yes. And this is a soap opera,
Yeah.
right? Like, soap operas are the only other thing, with the exception of certain, like, I don't even know how many years Car Talk was on, but I'm pretty sure it's not as long as Adventures in Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, soap operas are the only thing that have been around long enough to actually go blow for blow with something like Odyssey that started in the 80s and still
fascinating.
airs.
I mean, that's
So
a fair
they're really
assessment.
biting the hand that feeds
Yeah.
them.
The
Or maybe they're just trying to establish dominance as like the vegetative consumption of daytime entertainment.
Uh-huh.
Imagine at 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon, well, I guess it'd be weekday. So
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon, you're throwing on Odyssey. and what? You're sitting there. Like a person. No phones in sight. Just bliss. That's what they want.
Erica walks in, and the disdain in Jason's voice about this child watching this, where he's just like, wait, that's a soap opera, right?
Yeah.
And you actually watch that, child? Your parents must not be home. Don't you just know that, like, soap operas are morally bankrupt? They're just bad. Like, his argument
Yeah.
falls apart at the scrutiny of a elementary school kid? Middle school kid?
I mean, it is.
I don't even know. I'm just gonna say 6th grade, whatever land that it falls.
Oh,
in.
wait, she does say in the episode she's in the 7th grade. All right, so middle school, but
is
still.
that is still kind of young to be watching soap operas.
Sure. It is very much, this is what is on TV, so I will watch
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not saying either of them are right, but it does feel a little young, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and but hear me out.
I'm listening.
Why is the angle that he takes soap operas are bad and not here's something else that's interesting?
Sure. Yeah.
We have infinite technology. I can let you experience a million other realities. I can do it apparently with one night's work.
Yeah. Yeah.
With infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
That yada yada made me so happy, where she shows up the next day and he's like, wouldn't you rather just live in your soap opera? You know, we plugged a TV into a computer and don't worry about it.
It's so silly. It's so silly. It feels like a Twilight Zone knockoff, like a show that's like actively trying to do Twilight Zone, and you're like, yeah, but this isn't as good. Why are you guys even bothering to do this? Like, that's really what it felt. It felt like they wrote the script in like an hour.
Right. It is.
They may have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what they're getting paid, so maybe that's worth it.
Sure.
Like maybe an hour is all you can afford to do.
Sure.
$40
It
a week.
Yeah.
It is one of those things where like it gets so like the episode is reveling in the fact that they get to make a soap opera while saying nobody should watch a soap opera.
Yeah.
Like they have so much fun building out this world where, you know, there's so much frivolity and all these people are one-dimensional and suck, and it's like, yeah, but like there's if you're having this much fun making it, then like maybe there is a place for this thing to exist.
Oh, it just makes me sad, you know?
Yeah.
Well, did you have any, like, what was your media diet like growing up?
That's a great question. What was let's see. So, what years were you guys listening to this in your life? Like, what was your age range? Give me the years, and I'll tell you what I was watching.
Pretty much every year but high school.
Okay.
Yeah, I would give it a comfortable like 8 to 12 with some like some vestigial like maybe until 14. But at no point, I mean, on the early end of that, it might have been closer to this is my media diet. By the end of it, I'm watching like there's other stuff in there. I mean, it's a lot of like PBS and this starting out. But that was more of a product of not having cable than of, you know, non-educational shows being too bad.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, when I was growing up, let me think about what the big things were. The big things were, you know, a lot of stuff that is still prevalent in my life, you know, Star Wars, The Muppets, a lot of Disney Channel, Nickelodeon stuff. But then I was also, you know, we watched, like, my sister loved Full House. So, like, we watched a lot of Full House. And, like, Home Improvement. And, you know, everyone remembers good old Bill Cosby's show. We watched that a lot. And not good old. I want to be clear. It was facetious. It was very facetious the way I just said that.
This is a firmly pro-Cosby podcast.
Coming out hard against Adventures in Odyssey, but
very
pro-Cosby.
Pro-Cosby. But then, you know, a lot of like SpongeBob and but then I would also like watch like The West Wing with my parents, you know. So it was a very varied diet where it would be like a lot of kids stuff, but then also like, oh, let's watch this show about the inner workings of the White House, you know.
As one does.
Yeah.
Normal father-son stuff.
Yeah.
No, my dad would just show me movies that he wanted to watch with me and then cover my eyes for all the cool, interesting parts. It was really miserable.
It's really funny.
Here's the thing that you want to see, but you can't see any of the parts that you actually want to see. What you get is boring dialogue with no explanation.
The thing I will say about growing up with this is it filled a particular niche being an audio-only medium. Yeah. So it was a lot of, I put this on in the background while I build Lego being like the primary thing, where it's like I'm gonna like dig
100%.
through a Lego bin and have a cassette playing in the background with Adventures in Odyssey on it.
Hey man, you're talking to a guy whose hometown was the North American Lego headquarters. So,
Oh, wow.
a lot of my family and friends' parents worked at Lego, so I have so many Legos. So that was also very much me at the same time.
Yeah.
Where is this? Can I visit?
Enfield, Connecticut. I believe they're.
Okay.
It's mostly closed. They closed a lot of it. I think it's mostly just like office stuff at this point. But it used to be like shipping, distribution. Creative people. All that stuff was all there.
Very cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I think while we're still unpacking the level to which the messaging and theology of the show has affected my life, but I think the thing that had a greater impact was the appreciation for this audio medium. Like, I think I think there's a direct line that can be drawn from me building Lego while listening to Adventures in Odyssey to me rapidly consuming podcasts and then hosting one.
100%. Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I sort of do have an equivalent to this for when I was a kid. I used to listen to old radio shows from like the 40s and 50s, like comedy radio shows, before like falling asleep each night. Like it would like be the thing that like put me to sleep. And it was very similar to this, in that it was like a fully produced sound effects, full cast, all that stuff, except they weren't trying to, tell me to be a better person. It was just like, but I think that's a very similar thing where it's like, oh, that did have a large impact on my life, whether or not I realized it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the falling asleep thing is also for me as well. Like even more so than the Lego thing. Like one CD or one cassette,
Yeah.
I mean, cassettes were more problematic because you'd have to get up and flip it over halfway through. But like growing up with one CD, you got 3 Odysseys on there. And I fall asleep about halfway through the second one, but I always stay awake for the full first one. It's the sweet spot. The sweet second is what I call it.
Yeah, the thing you just triggered there for me, too, is my realization that I don't think I've had before, but that I went hard from leaving this behind to, I listen to specific comedy albums on repeat.
Yeah.
Before landing in the podcast camp wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Where I was like, starting out classic, like, hey, gonna listen to a ton of Brian Regan and then branch out from there, pick up your Berbiglias, eventually, John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Like that whole world of, hey, this is just a comedy album that I listen to front to back over and over again because memorize the bits because it can occupy a similar space to, what this audio drama did for me.
Sure.
And I don't think I ever made that connection, but that fully tracks.
There you go.
All right. The actual, we can breeze through this, but the actual contents of the soap opera, there are a couple funny / interesting moments here where it's like it's the barest of it's the first draftiest of like this is a soap opera thing, but it does a weird thing where the star of the soap opera, the character she plays, is an actress.
Yes.
And so we get 3 levels deep in this episode in a way that is really, really confusing because there's this point where Erica is inserted into the soap opera as her favorite character, Holly.
Yeah.
So there is a point at which Erica, pretending to be Holly, who is a actress, but an actress playing an actress. So she's pretending to be this character who is an actress accepting an award. And I was like, how is this person getting an Academy Award for being on a soap opera? And then I was like, oh, right, the Academy Award is going to the character in the soap opera who Erica is playing, and Erica is a character on the radio show Adventures in Odyssey, and now we are out of this Russian nesting doll.
Now, I'm going to pause you right there for 1 second, because you explaining this makes me recontextualize everything that I heard.
Yeah, no, that just completely broke the episode for me. I'm not gonna lie. I thought she was just an actor. Or an actress.
I thought she was playing the actress that she liked in the soap opera.
Yeah, I thought that was the
Where,
point,
like,
right?
she was, like, playing Susan Lucci or something like that. Like, an actress who was in a soap opera. But I love this so much more.
I think
They made a soap opera about an actress.
Yeah.
right.
It's
right.
like...
Oh, no.
It's like if she... Oh, my God. It's like if she got sucked into Entourage and played Vinny Chase. And then in that episode of Entourage, he's... No. Excuse me. Hang on. She's playing Johnny Drama, and then she wins the Golden Globe at the end of the Entourage movie, and that's the episode that we see in her life. That's what it would be like. It's so much more confusing. Whereas I thought she was just playing Kevin Dillon. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It is baffling because yeah, I had to keep reminding myself that, oh, the soap opera character is an actress. This isn't the life of the actress in the soap opera.
No,
and I don't know how.
Exactly what I was
I don't
telling
know how you
myself
would
to
follow
believe.
that as a child.
Sure.
If you know, only 1/3 of us followed that as adults.
Yeah, and I said this to you guys, I think it was before the recording, was fully paying attention to it. Like, I gave it my entire attention, which is not something that ever happens, but I was like, I need to fully understand what's happening here, and I still completely dropped the ball on it.
Look, it's not clear. My notes are a mess.
Yeah, no, I've heard this several times, and I don't know that I've understood it the same time each way. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Man.
There's no way.
Yeah.
She can't be an actress that's an actress.
Yeah.
That's an actress.
I
That's an actress?
I want both of your takes on this piece as well.
Yeah.
Which is this, like, did Jason come up with a way to patch her into the episode of Soaplessly Devoted, or of the TV show? What's it called? I just called it Soaplessly Devoted. That's this show.
Medical Center of Love.
Yes. I mean, that name is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. Medical Center of Love is all right. The background, like the announcer, when she first is watching the soap opera, in the background, there you hear the announcer go, "For every heartache, don't self-medicate. Check into the Medical Center of Love." And I'm like, okay, all right, like, sure, that is a joke. Like, that kind of lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, as far as, like, dumb names for a TV show within a TV show,
Yeah.
it passes the test.
It sounds like oh God, what is the show on Twin Peaks that they all
That is what I was thinking as well. It is
Invitational Love, I think that's what it is.
yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really funny.
I had that same thought.
Yeah.
Is that a season 2?
I think they watch it throughout the whole thing. I think.
Yeah, I forget. That show always confuses me because, like, the first season is 8 episodes,
Yes,
and I
yes.
have to remind myself, and the second's 22.
Yeah.
And so I forget.
What happens
There's so much stuff that feels like it lasts an eternity,
For sure.
and then I realize it's like 8 episodes in the middle of season 2, and that's it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And even that is, I think, more than a lot of the people. This is not a Twin Peaks show. We're not talking about Twin Peaks here. It's a show they're watching throughout the show, but it's always, like, in the background for like 10 seconds, and you just see it very quickly. So it's totally fine if you've missed it.
To make this a Twin Peaks show for a second.
Great.
Kimmy Roberts.
I know.
Robertson. Yeah, okay.
I know.
You know this?
Saw that.
Her character is married to Jess Harnell. Jess Harnell's character in the show.
Yeah, that was a bummer when I saw that. It's a bummer. But I'll say this, Kimmy Robertson, great interview on the George Lucas Talk Show, and you can check it out now on YouTube.
Oh, that's
Hey!
right.
Yeah.
Man, if only you could rewind and you know, ask about this.
I know. Oh, boy. I don't think I would. I don't.
No, I don't think there's any way that goes well, especially on a show that is live.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. That's okay. Whatever.
But
You just gotta hide it in a very nice gesture.
Yes.
Just subtly.
Yes.
yeah. All right. So the thing I wanted your thoughts on is, did Jason overnight, in addition to coding up this whole thing, write an episode of the Medical Center of Love? And what research did he do to do that? Or alternatively, did he somehow patch her into the episode live on air?
Oh, wow. Because, you know, if he's not doing research, right? Let's live in this world for a second where he did not do any research. That means he's a fan of the show.
Right.
Which, very hypocritical, which Christians are never hypocritical, you know?
No.
No, not a single one.
Never,
of them.
ever. God, man, what a great question. And I'm just going to stumble over words for a few seconds while I try to figure it out in my head.
Oh, yeah.
I don't...
Because the added context is, this is 1994.
Yes. So it's...
And the episode was airing immediately when Erica leaves Wits End.
Yes.
So and it's 24 hours later. That's established. So you're not going to be able to even run out to a video store and find a soap opera on VHS to reference.
So I think
you're not going to be able to go onto Wikipedia. Like,
now it's got...
Do you want to hear my headcanon
Yes.
theory as to how this happened?
Absolutely.
So Jason used to be a spy, naturally,
boy.
right? Which you didn't know about. Don't worry, his dad that owns the ice cream shop also used to be a spy.
Wait, is this real? Is this real?
This is real.
Oh,
the town is
God.
lousy with spies.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Full of spies.
The Hal Smith's character, Mr. Whitaker, the senior, the original Mr. Whitaker,
Sure.
was a consultant to the NSA and an archaeologist.
Sure.
And in addition to owning, and a teacher, in addition to owning this ice cream shop, he owns an encyclopedia company.
Which is the most I'm the smartest man in the 80s profession ever.
Now this does feel like The Simpsons in a way where you're like, okay, so Homer was an astronaut and he was in a barbershop quartet and he works at a nuclear power plant. Okay, it's just like you have to do so many episodes. So it's just like they're going to do every single thing in the world. We're just going to make them do every job possible.
Yep.
For sure, and we've talked about it before, just in that Simpsons started it in '89 and is still going.
Yeah.
This show started in '87 and is still going. Like, there is a lot of weird DNA there just from the way this thing exists in, obviously, Simpsons being, you know, the monoculture and this being an incredible niche, but it's weirdly paralleled.
It would be really great if there was a new internet trend where people started saying Adventures in Odyssey did it first. Like how people say that about The Simpsons.
I would love to start that.
Yeah.
However, I don't think in the history of the show they've ever done anything first.
I mean, are they the first, like, long-term successful Christian radio drama?
I mean,
That's it, right? I think that's it.
probably.
So the fruits of those labors are entirely self-evaluated.
Are they the only currently running radio drama? Like,
aside from the stuff that is now podcasts.
yeah.
I have to imagine there can't be, and I feel like I would know if there was another audio drama with a national reach.
Oh my gosh. There's something called, sorry, guys.
Nope.
Here we go. Here we go. There.
I'm looking at it too.
Are we talking about? Are we all looking at Unshackled right now?
I'm not looking at Unshackled
Here we go.
right now.
Unshackled is a radio drama produced by Pacific Garden Mission in Chicago, Illinois that first aired September 23rd, 1950. It is one of the longest-running radio dramas in history and one of the very few still in production in the United States.
Wow.
The show
Look, radio is the Wild West.
Yes, it is.
The show is aired over 6,500 times around the world each week in over 1,550 radio outlets. There's
Wow.
3,600 episodes, 30 minutes in length. Fuck you, Adventures in Odyssey. We're 30 minutes in length.
Yeah.
We don't even take an ad break.
We don't need them.
Also, such a short Wikipedia page. There is like 2 to 3 paragraphs on this Wikipedia page.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is-
Wow. Yeah, no, this is...
That's
but it is a
wild.
Christian... I mean, it's a Christian
It is.
radio drama.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy that that this is first coming onto my radar now. But also, like, how would you find out?
Oh.
know.
Like,
Oh, it
know.
stars a baseball great turned evangelist, Billy Sunday.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to know anything else.
yeah, no, that feels like a safe spot to.
I don't presume it gets
fail.
any better.
Oh man.
Wild.
So truly, it's just Christians playing against Christians in the world of radio drama.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems like it.
And then occasional, some very good podcasts as well.
Oh yeah, well, but those are those radio dramas.
I mean, not really, but like I don't know, like Wolverine: The Long Night or
Yeah.
like something like that. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Something like that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like,
Big fan.
oh yes, Marvel Patrick says yes.
I can't talk about this.
But yeah, just those like it feels like there is, yeah. I mean, just as everything is podcasts, there's people are realizing that like doing scripted shows is marketable, and not that that's new. I mean, there have been scripted podcasts for a while, but I feel like recently the audio engineering side of things has really stepped up its game,
Sure.
Certainly.
which
Now there is
Yeah.
something also called The Archers, which is on BBC 4. Billed as an everyday story of country folk, and now it's billed as a contemporary drama in a rural setting, has been going since 1950, and there have been 19,500 episodes.
Wow.
truly the soap opera of radio dramas.
Yeah.
Currently is 12 minutes long. It used to be 15 minutes long.
Best part is I'm pretty sure BBC doesn't have ads.
Uh-huh. Oh, no, look at this. Hang on. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions, weekly programming reduced to 4 episodes, emitting episodes on Sunday and Friday. The Sunday were reduced in length after continuing with pre-recorded episodes and repeating some classic episodes. New episodes started that had been recorded remotely to a mixed reception. People did not like it. People are like, this is not the Archers that I know and love.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
So
the
bef-
episode.
Well, I do want to get Patrick's take on what how Jason is pulling this together.
It's a great question, and I've been trying to think about it this entire time. I think, listen, do they live in a realistic world?
No.
Well,
Like, if
they
I said,
want to. Like, it's not a fantasy world. It flirts with sci-fi.
Sure.
There are also there's also a bit of Chronicles of Narnia ripoff material where they were some, but that's very much on the fringe
Yeah.
of
So, like,
of what
if I
this
said
is.
he just built an AI script machine, like, is that something that feels like they could have done where he's like, I just plugged in all this stuff into a computer. But I guess it's 1994.
That-
So, like...
Yes.
Yeah, there was.
Oh.
I know. It's
Maybe
yeah,
that's the thing that they did. They just they yada yada
Yeah.
their way into an actually good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Man.
yeah.
It just took 20 years to realize.
Yeah.
I'm gonna... Here's the thing. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. And I'm just gonna be...
Well, I can't watch anything before bed, so there's no way I'm going to be able to fall
There it is.
asleep.
I'm just gonna be thinking about this now.
Yeah. All I have is Jason.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say now our virus has infected you. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is the reason that this show exists.
You're
is
gonna have
because-
to give me a login. That's all I need.
Okay. That is very easy.
Will it be guest is dumb or?
I want I want a kid's profile.
Yes.
Oh, don't worry, you'll get a kid's profile.
Great.
Great. That way you can't see my credit card.
Good. Good.
But yeah. Man, I don't even. I think, I mean, loosely, just like she goes into this, is thrown into this world, and everything around her sucks.
Yeah.
Well, they build
she
her up
finds
first,
out,
and then they tear her down.
right?
Things are
Exactly.
good. She's like, oh my gosh, this is great. All these people love me. Everything is wonderful. I'm winning these awards. I'm actually
I
a
won.
terrible person.
6 Academy Awards.
I poisoned somebody.
Yeah.
Once again in the okay, that joke kind of works is when she's rattling off all these awards she won and names Key Grip, which too soon, and then costumes for a foreign documentary,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is like in the scape of made up award,
Sure.
pretty clever.
It's kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's when very little is funny and most is concerning, stuff that makes me smile a little bit, even if it's only on the inside, is gonna win the day.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, you have to figure out what makes you happy in life, and I'm glad that these very small victories are what are getting you there.
Yeah. So she gets arrested by a fake cop for tampering, poisoning, and embezzling. And it's just, yeah. The thing I wanted to find out, which I couldn't, is the voice actress who is doing Erica is named Erin Love. She doesn't seem to have any sort of presence that I could track down. And my hunch is that she is, in fact, a child.
Yeah.
And that makes slotting a actual child in as a child in a soap opera, condemning soap operas, for children, does just feel like
Now,
this is not
where is this based out of?
So
Colorado
focus on the
Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah. The best understanding we've been able to gather, and I don't know in this era of the show, but they record in Burbank or LA adjacent. But the show is produced in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
I think that is maybe less the case in this era, where it is a lot more just like they might actually be doing it on campus, but like nowadays they record at a place called Salami Studio that does like
Excuse
is just
me? Excuse me?
yeah, Salami Studio.
Okay.
It's an actual studio in California that like I wish I had an example off the top of my head, but like real shows that do like animation and stuff that does voiceover in this way record there. Although they did, I doubt it is still going on, but I don't want to speak for sure because I don't know. But they did move to recording remotely when the pandemic hit,
Oh,
which
good for them.
seems like it should be a given, but also
Yeah, surprised a little bit.
Avatar,
I'm-
the new Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay.
Like the Paw Patrol movie. It's
Yeah.
you know, all of SpongeBob. Salami's pretty big.
Now, I did find an Aaron Love who lives in Colorado, but I think she's too young. So I don't think it's her.
Aaron
But I
loves
am-
in your area.
Yeah. I mean, she might also be married at this point. That also might be not her
right.
real name.
right. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like she's been in some episodes, but because this is all done under literally seemingly no scrutiny.
Yeah.
Like it's not like any of this has to be documented or tracked in any way. There's no union involved.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
it's pretty like it's seemingly pretty anonymous. There isn't like there are no, unlike the George Lucas talk show, there aren't IMDb credits for Adventures in Odyssey appearances,
Sure.
except for the short-lived animated series,
Sure.
which then makes sense because, that's an actual, animated production. But all of this stuff, the only credits that exist are what is on the wiki.
I may have figured this out. Now,
Okay.
I think, maybe not. It might be a woman named Erin Fitzgerald, who is a voice actor in a lot of stuff, including what looks like some stuff with Jess Harnell.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think it
Okay.
might be this woman, Erin Fitzgerald.
Okay. Interesting.
There you go. Solved your mystery for you. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't. But she's in like Death Stranding and like pretty much a lot
Okay.
of a lot of voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If this is an actual voice actress, that would make sense.
And in 1994, in something called Storybook, she played Girl in Attic. So it like
okay,
the
yep.
timeline lines up right.
Right, no, that does make sense. This does feel very much like a Girl in Attic performance.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I might just be doxing Aaron Richardson for no reason though, so I apologize. Or Aaron Fitzgerald, whatever her name is.
Hey, if we don't actually know what her name is, it's
There you
not
go.
doxing.
There you go.
Fumbled on purpose.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, her fictional life just keeps spiraling out of control. There is the joke that doesn't work at all for me, which is the police officer who arrests her is not a police officer. He's he's married to the person she poisoned.
Sure.
And so this is it's the sweatiest of plots, but is married to the person that Holly, the character played by Erica, poisoned, who then he kidnaps her because he has her diary and comes at her and is like, hey, I could, I don't know, get you arrested for the contents of this diary, but I'm not a cop.
Yeah.
And I just have you in a warehouse tied up.
Yeah.
So, sure. And then Holly's brother, Trevor, storms in and is like, I have your diary, Lieutenant Mitchell. And then her love interest, Derek, storms in and he goes, I have your diary, Derek. And I was like, this might be the worst rule of threes I have witnessed. Where each one just elicits more and more, guttural pain.
Yeah. I do have a brief follow-up to what I was talking about with Aaron, and I'm so sorry about this.
No.
Now, I'm not sure that she is the same person. However, in Adventures in Odyssey Club, episode 892, that aired July 1st, 2020, Erin Fitzgerald plays a character named Pamela in an episode called Millstones. So
That is... So... Oh boy, that is a loaded character.
okay.
I would like to acknowledge that is that is the character who comes on the show and considers getting an abortion for a very special episode.
Oh no! Oh
and
yeah.
then
It was
they brought back
promptly
years later.
tossed into a vault and forgotten only to those who don't pay $10.99 a month.
Yeah. Was
Here's a
she
quote. Here's a quote. Pamela, I couldn't go through with it. I couldn't do it. Connie Kendall. Oh, Pamela, it's my baby.
Yeah. So she's had 3 appearances, all
Yes.
played by
Different
different
people.
characters.
Yeah.
Because you have so much time in between there. It's literally like a 22-year range.
It's so fascinating because just write a new character.
Yeah, but we gotta follow up on this.
That's how you get that 30 year of longevity.
For I don't know if this is for what it's worth, but that episode, Pamela Has a Problem, aired once on the radio, and then they pulled it. Haven't aired it since, but then did release it on a special album called The Lost Episodes, and it is available to stream on the club.
Great.
So
Okay.
They're still
That's
willing
some,
to make
that's
money
some-
off of it if you do
Yeah.
like it.
Sure.
But
Right.
they know
It
that
was-
you don't.
Sorry, I apologize for getting us off track.
No, that's all right.
It certainly happens.
So that is, man, you might have cracked the code here.
Maybe. There's a chance. That's her.
Yeah, maybe we need to get you on as our official booker.
Get
You seem to
Aaron
have a
on the
skill
show.
set in
Hey,
that.
this is what I'm here for.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. She gets then like betrayed by Derek and then betrayed by her friend Victoria, who goes like, "I will never abandon you." The police knock on the door and she checks out.
Yep. Yeah.
Like it's so heavy-handed, but they're having fun with like, we can be over the top and like indulge all of our soapiest tendencies.
Yeah, it seems like they've watched enough soap operas that they know what the deal is, It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It also just like, soap operas seem like the easiest thing in the world to parody as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because it's
Where it's like-
melodrama. You just overact,
Right.
and then it's a soap
Yeah.
opera. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's like, I feel like if they just saw, and I'm sure there is at this point in history where this episode's airing, there have been numerous like SNL sketches parodying soap operas in some form or another. Like, that is fraught territory.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about soap operas in 1994.
Sure. Yeah. It's not.
So
they've been around for 40 years at this point.
Right. And obviously, like, there are still some soap operas that go on today, and once again, everything loops back to, we've talked about actors in Adventures in Odyssey whose other credits include being on soap operas.
Sure.
Like, that is an overlap if you're just going to be probably working like fairly low-paying jobs in the entertainment industry, still on screen, or on voice. But like, I imagine there's obviously a way to do that and get by because people do it. So,
Yeah.
Any other just stray observations about the like contents of the episode? Because I think I've called attention to my big-ish pieces.
There was some point where they just overtly, and I wish I wrote it down, they overtly were just like, shoot. And that's why you don't live in sin and scandal, or something like that. It was just
it's at the very end when they give you the moral, and the moral is, if you watch bad stuff, you become a bad stuff.
Yes.
right, we shouldn't consume things that might lead us to sin.
Yes.
And I
Well,
was like,
and
this is a
thinking
bad
something out of line, even just letting your mind entertain the possibility of something is so horrendous, it just can't be done. We got to get rid of it.
But us subjecting you to this is not a problem. Because this is not
Until
this
he
is
tries
not-
to sleep
we're,
tonight.
We're not
Yeah.
an entertainment company. We're, speaking truth or whatever their tagline is. Like they feel like they have, well, I mean, they talk about soap operas are morally bankrupt. They obviously feel like they have a moral high ground here with their content.
Well, here's what I'm going to say, and let me work through this theory in my head. This feels like a show, and I'm going to compare it to something right now. It's something I've already brought up in this episode, like Entourage. This feels like Entourage, in that Entourage at the beginning started as a way of satirizing Hollywood and all of its like tropes and things that people make fun of Hollywood for, where it's like, hey, look at this loser living in luxury and he's not happy and all that stuff. But by the end, all the people that they were making fun of were who those characters actually became and who the writers actually became. Where it was like, oh, all these characters suck. All these writers seem like douches now. All the things that they were making fun of in the beginning is what the show eventually turned into. And that's sort of how I feel from this very brief wade into the pool of Adventures in Odyssey, where it's like, oh, we're the good guys. And then it's like, well, no, you guys immediately just became
The bad guys by traumatizing a child to make your point.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And where they don't necessarily lean into melodrama in this same way, they're still they still lean into the show is designed to entertain. Maybe as a Trojan horse, probably as a Trojan horse, but there's a level to which these writers are trying to make something that a child will listen to and enjoy.
Yeah.
And so it's that how do they square how do you square being entertainment is bad in this way but not in others, because he's talking about the whole reason this comes up as being a bad thing is Erica rushes home from school every day to watch this and brushed off a friend to do so, and her parents don't know she's doing it. And there are it's not there's that is wholly unconcerning. I can see a perspective from which that's oh yeah, this person is too heavily invested in this TV show that is made for people who are considerably older than her. Maybe this is not maybe this is just not the best place for you to be putting your energy. But the fact that it comes down as a straight up condemnation of a specific kind of media, and then to a greater extent just media in general, but still pat ourselves on the back and say, but ours is the good one.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what at least I grew up in, where it was I can only watch so much TV every day or whatever, regardless of what it is, whether it's a documentary or SpongeBob, I only have a certain amount of time, but I can listen to as much Odyssey as I want for as long as I want.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter because they're that's their marketing, is that it's oh, well, we're the clean bathroom, so just use us instead.
Yeah.
They're still
yeah, but no, I mean that's totally fair. It's that you can just, and there is, I mean, there's something to that's what PBS can thrive on in a way that I think is far less concerning. Is being hey, this is entertainment that your children can watch and you don't have to monitor them during it. Like, it's gonna be fine. They're maybe gonna learn something. It's mostly just to, like, you know, for them to be staring at the TV. Or even what, like, a Sesame Street is. Or, like, you have plenty of content that is made for kids with that kind of split model of, we are going to entertain you, but this is also safe.
Sure. Yeah. It's a real bummer that it exists.
The other thing I want to draw our attention to is we do get discussion questions for a lot of, especially basically all the episodes that aired like 90s and before, they have officially sanctioned discussion questions.
Sure.
They're
The last
nothing
one.
super interesting here, right? So it's, why was Erica so caught up in Medical Center of Love? And it's like, I don't know, who cares? Like, because it was dramatic. I don't know, because she's a child and it was on television.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure what you want from me there. Why was Jason so concerned about her obsession with the program? You know, what we said
Because
before.
he's absolutely
He doesn't
right.
think...
In all things.
Yeah. And then the third question is, do you watch soap operas?
Oh, wow.
How about other TV?
Wow.
Do you listen to radio programs? Are you as addicted to them as Erica was to her show?
Wow.
We really, just that last one. Are you
trying to
as
get people to
addicted
narc
to
on
them?
yourself. Yeah.
I mean, buddy, that's
Yeah.
Christianity.
I know. Wow.
At least in its most evangelical.
Yep.
But the
You better
the
feel
answer,
bad.
Focus, if you're listening, is yes, I was as addicted to your radio program
Yeah.
as Erica is to this show.
Yeah.
I did, for sure, like, was heavily invested in these characters, in their romantic arcs, in their spy arcs.
Sure.
Like, I deeply cared about the goings on in this world that you created. And you know what? I don't think I took away great things from that experience.
Yeah.
Some? Sure.
positive.
Like we said.
Certainly.
There's been some positive things. And we've talked about episodes that have been really cool, in just like we did an episode of the show that was just all about forgiveness and trying to, you know, move past, you know, a guy who made a mistake as a young man, trying to, like, kind of pay his penance and, you know, do his time, and, you know, the town forgiving him. And there's stuff like that where I'm like, it's not like this show is without its moments of redemption. There are things that overlap with the themes that they care about, and stuff I think is genuinely important in a society. They just come at it from such a hardcore, give no ground, we are the persecuted and we, you know, or everyone's antagonizing us, so we gotta lash back approach.
Sure.
That is, I mean, very common in this evangelical Christian world that the show exists in, and creates a lot of frustration. But that is, it's, I don't know, that trying to, a lot of the show that we make here is trying to see what is good for its good, and what can we do with that, and then how do we reckon that with the bad, and still feeling like at the end of the day, like, there's enough of, honestly, so much of the show is varying degrees of neutral and or episodes of, like, Arthur.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
Sure.
It has the bare bonesest of a moral.
Sure.
It is just kind of like, hey, you know, stand up for the kid who's bullied.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever. And so there's, that I do occasionally have to remind myself that, like, we do cherry pick the ones that are interesting.
Of course.
And there's some stuff out there that is fine.
Yeah.
But also,
There's also
call attention to the fact that that is not across the board.
Well, and there seems to be no ceiling as to how good it can be, or no floor as to how bad it can be.
Yeah.
Like, I really could go in any direction, because, there are episodes of Adventures in Odyssey that, like, I cherish more so than certain, familial memories. But,
so funny.
but, there are also episodes that are very triggering of, like, harmful beliefs that I used to have.
Sure, of course.
So you just gotta reconcile with both ends of the spectrum and land somewhere in the, we've been talking about this for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We've covered some of the most recent episodes, and that has been the most disheartening, where it has been, a lot of stuff that's not like overtly, this is a huge problem, but then also is like, oh my word, we just had this character who's a child put a lot of other children through trauma, and we're being told he's the right one, and it's like, I don't like that there are people out there listening to this who could internalize this.
Yeah.
Well, but
welcome to Christianity.
Yeah. All right. So that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Now on to more fun things. Like, what do you have going on in your life that you want listeners of this show to know about, Patrick?
Oh boy, what do I have going on? I got a lot of stuff going on right now. You can watch. I produce and book and one of the co-hosts on this show called the George Lucas Talk Show. It's a very silly, fun talk show where comedians Connor Ralph and Griffin Newman host a talk show in character as George Lucas and the character Watto from the Star Wars prequels.
It's a delight.
Thank you. They interview real guests as themselves. Whoopi Goldberg's been on the show, and Darcy Carden, Jason Mantzoukas, like Julian Glover, who's in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. There's been hundreds of people this last year. You can find them all on YouTube.
Very important to me, Leah Thompson.
Oh, yes, Leah Thompson, the queen, the best.
Indeed. Oh, my word. What an episode.
I always tell people you do not have to be a Star Wars fan to watch the show. I know a lot of people who watch it who do not give two shits about Star Wars and really enjoy it.
And that's most of the guests.
Yeah. So I recommend finding a guest that you like, watching that episode, and you'll be able to get the idea of whether you're going to like this show or not through that. So I've got that. It's all on YouTube. You can find a list of guests on our IMDb page, and that's an easy way to search through. I also have this show called Rat Scraps, which is an improv show in New York, where we have a famous person come in every week and tell some stories from their life, and then people do improv based off of it. So you can come see that in person, or you can stream it. We have a stream every Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern. You can watch it up to 48 hours later, but it's a full HD, 3-camera, fully directed stream. It's very cheap, and it's very fun, and it feels like you're there. What else? I do a bunch of stuff at Marvel. And I'm casting an HBO animated kids show called Unlimited Squirrels. I don't know when that's going to come out, but that is something that I am...
Jess Harnell's way.
Hey, we'll see. But that is something that I'm working on right now. So look forward to that.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, in the next year or so, probably.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, then.
And you can follow me on Twitter.
Oh, my word. The most important of the plugs.
The most important. You can follow me on Twitter at Patrick Cotnoir, PatrickCotnoir. I'm currently, like we mentioned earlier, trying to get more followers than the canceled NBC show Sean Saves the World. So you can help me out in that respect. That's it. I promise that's it.
Okay. All right. This sounds, Go do those things. We'll put links in the show notes, as always. And Patrick, Andrew, it's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Even if the episode itself was not, I enjoyed our discussion.
It's been the company has been exceptional. It is
thank
truly
you guys
an
for
honor.
having me. Yes, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for coming.
And thank you, folks, for listening. We will be back next week with another episode and another guest. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
WadFam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at wadfamchalkpod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Soaplessly Devoted was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, with special guest Patrick Cotnoir. It was edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.